Samantha is a wife and mother of 3 beautiful children. She is currently working as a school health aide, earning $22,000 a year, while her husband, Cornell, is a stay-at-home father who cares for the children because daycare is just too expensive. While working full-time, Samantha is pursuing a bachelor's degree with the hopes of being able to finally support her family. But as of right now, they are struggling just to feed the children. People in the US, like Samantha and Cornell, have to rely on food banks where they are able to accept donated food. Although stories of hunger are quite common in the US, the statistics of world hunger are astonishing. There are approximately 795 million people in the world who do not live a healthy lifestyle due to the lack of nutritious food. In addition, 66 million primary school-aged children arrive to class hungry, with 23 million just in Africa. As disheartening as this sounds, the solution to food and nutrition scarcity may not be far-fetched. So, what's the difference between food and nutrition scarcity?
So a lot of people don't understand the difference between nutrients and nutrition.
This is Sam Van Leer. He is the president and founder of Urban Paradise Guild. Sam has devoted his entire life to preserving natural habitats and creating urban gardens in low-income areas. He has had a great influence on bringing change and awareness on other environmental issues such as fracking, sea level rise, and climate change.
Reality is that the quality of our food is completely separate from the volume of food that we absorb. So when we grow food organically, when we actually control when it's harvested, that means that we get the maximum value from each plant that we harvest. And an example of this is tomatoes. So on the average, the industrial chemically farmed food that we are fed most of the time, it gets harvested 10 days before it's consumed, and it travels as much as 1,500 miles. How can that possibly be ripe? Well, the answer, of course, is it's not. So when they bring in tomatoes, they're often actually gassed to make them look like they're ripe. So the implications when it comes to the nutrient value of that food is pretty massive. When you eat one of these, I call them cardboard tomatoes, when you eat a cardboard tomato, it doesn't really taste like anything. In fact, I didn't even know why people like tomatoes. They look pretty, but they don't taste like anything. That also means that they were picked green. They never had the chance to ripen the way that they evolved to ripen. They never had the chance to deliver the full nutrient value that a tomato is capable of providing us with.
Many people in developed countries are fortunate enough to have easy access to nutritious food, but considering a 2015 statistic which showed that 43 million people lived in poverty in America, we must ask ourselves, is there a solution? In the US, many cities rely heavily on imported goods to meet their daily needs. Food is often transported many miles and even shipped from other countries, which contributes tremendously to global warming. When you consider the increase of population in cities, negative environmental effects, global population, and high poverty rate, the solution will rely profoundly on, you guessed it, urban agriculture. So what is it? Urban agriculture is defined as the production of crop and livestock goods within cities and towns. Compared to rural agriculture, the most distinctive feature of urban agriculture is its assimilation into ecological and economic systems. It is much more than simply planting crops and raising livestock. The system integrates urban ecology, resident workers, proper city planning, land competition, and urban resources such as organic waste and urban wastewater. It solves the most essential human necessity of nutrition security. By 2020, majority of the population in Latin America, Asia, and Africa is expected to increase in urban areas. In order to feed society, create employment, and manage human waste, many cities in America and around the world are turning to urban agricultural practices. So what are other benefits of urban agriculture?
Urban agriculture has many benefits. Locally, the idea is to help low-income families who live in apartments to grow their own food organically. It's important that people grow food organically, one, for the health benefits, because you are what you eat, and our chemical farming industry is actually creating food-like substances that are really not good for us, and it's why we as a society have so many health problems. So, organic urban agriculture is part of the solution set for that. Another critical element for going organic is we're preventing the release of greenhouse gases, carbon and methane especially, which are being released into our atmosphere through our current agriculture programs, which are actually causing Miami to drown. So when people grow their own food, they're helping themselves get healthy. They're helping their children achieve maximum nutrition and therefore their best possible physical development to reach their full potential. But they're also helping to protect their family's future from climate change. So all of these things add up together. But even more so is being involved in urban agriculture on a personal level helps kids learn how to learn. And by doing that, they're building a foundation that helps them become good students and achieve a higher level of education than they might have otherwise. We specialize in experiential education, and this is one of the elements that we're building in here.
There are also many social benefits to urban agriculture. One important aspect are the social impacts to local communities. Many nonprofit organizations like Urban Paradise Guild are currently working to create a strong local network of people in order to provide them with higher human welfare through urban gardening. This leads to a positive change that gives people self-worth and meaning to their community, not to mention safer neighborhoods. Other people may find tranquility and leisure as a benefit to urban agriculture. Urban gardening is diverse in that it can be practiced almost anywhere in the city. From rooftops, vacant lots, backyards, public parks to city-owned land, the plethora of locations to grow fresh produce are endless. However, several municipal governments do not allow growing crops in public areas due to maintenance issues and mess. Nonetheless, because of the efforts of nonprofit organizations and other advocates, many city officials are quickly recognizing the benefits. Let's take a look at a few case studies. As you have already heard, there are many benefits to urban agriculture, but whether it is feasible for cities to become self-reliant on food raises another concern. With the population converging into cities, a study was conducted in the city of Cleveland to answer such a scenario. Cleveland is ranked one of the poorest cities in America in addition to a high foreclosure rate. The study analyzed 3 scenarios. The scenarios included using a combination of vacant lots, residential lots, and commercial rooftops as garden areas. It would produce fresh produce, poultry and eggs, and honey. Not surprisingly, the analysis concluded that it is certainly possible for Cleveland, Ohio to become self-reliant. Such a project would require large sums of funding and full cooperation of local governments and city planners. Nonetheless, the benefits would have a positive effect on the local environment. Moving on to case study number 2. Research was conducted of urban agriculture in Kampala, which is located in Africa. The research focused on understanding the influences behind urban gardening at the household level, which includes access to land, food security, economic strategies, and policies. During the Amin regime in Kampala, the city faced a severe economic downfall. This led to illegal currency transactions, trafficking, and seizing of private property, which ultimately caused wages in Kampala to drastically decrease. The local residents resorted to urban agriculture as an additional method to compensate their income. The research concluded that food and nutrition scarcity has been shown to increase through urban gardening among low-income families. Also, families are able to barter food while supplementing their income. Furthermore, the study showed that 80% of the families who practice urban gardening saw an increase in child nutrition, which is a definite bonus. However, unlike countries with a strong government, ownership to land rights are not strictly enforced, so people are faced with the risk of losing their land. Next up is case study 3. Many farmers would agree that using pesticides and other chemicals in agriculture can cause detrimental effects to wildlife, humans, and the environment. So why do they continue to use them despite the negative effects? An analysis was conducted to expose the harmful effects. Pesticides serve as a method to combat pests in order to save vital crops in agriculture. Although the short-term benefits may produce increases in crop yields, the negative long-term effects are far greater. As farmers use pesticides on their fields, pests are becoming more resistant to the chemicals. As a result, farmers end up using higher and higher concentrations of pesticides. Furthermore, the health of field workers is at risk due to the chemical exposure. There is evidence that suggests exposure to pesticides can result in immune dysfunction. Another consequence to the ongoing use of pesticides is the unintentional mortality of beneficial predators, more importantly, the myriad of native biota. The changes needed to implement urban agriculture have made significant steps forward. However, more cooperation is needed from local governments and policymakers in order to alleviate nutrition scarcity. There is a disconnect with other community systems such as transportation, housing, land use, and economic improvements. In order for this food system to be successful, we need to create a link that incorporates policy decisions of urban agriculture in conjunction with these community systems. Some people might view growing produce on medians and public spaces as obtrusive or aesthetically unpleasant. A very rudimentary approach to public acceptance is through educating society of the benefits of urban agriculture. Also, we would rely partly on NGOs like UPG to help facilitate community activities to raise awareness. It is time to restructure our current food system, not just in America, but on a global scale. With our technological advances, there is no reason why people should suffer from hunger. Our current traditional agricultural practices are not only contributing to a warmer planet, but the health risks to humans by using chemicals will have harmful consequences. We need to focus on creating healthy people because access to abundant and nutritious food should be a fundamental right. Thank you for watching.